Watch the entire video, my lovely viewers, to get the whole thing. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button down below. Turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
Let me start with the last one. Let me start with the last question. Anonymous, who's saying, do I have any ambitions for the presidency, etc., etc. And I want to be very categorical to you, my brother. First of all, I thank you. I thank you very much for you recognizing that I may have some qualities for you to consider me in this position. But my answer is a categorical no. At least for the elections of 2026, I have absolutely no ambition to be president, and I have absolutely no ambition to be the vice president or the running mate. But I want you to understand and share the reasons why. It is not because I don't think I'm capable. It is not because I am unwilling or that I don't have a desire for it. It is because I think that the number one problem in this country is that there are far, far too many of us who have made a little name or have made some little money or have been called honorable or president or whatever, that all of a sudden begin to think that we can become president. There has to be some level of individuals who are prepared to be part of the process of reform and agents of reform without wanting to always lead from the front. For me as an individual, anonymous, I have never, ever in my life needed a title for me to be heard. I have never needed power to have influence. I have never, ever needed a recognition that I must be seated at the high table for my voice to be heard at the table. And I think that it is the wrong premise to believe that the only way in which you can contribute and help your country forward is for you to be president. That one I completely disagree with. And I will conclude by saying this on this particular question. And I must apologize, Ambassador Mwamba, and to the listeners, if it will sound rude or it will sound arrogant from my part. But it is the truth, and it is the way I believe it and others have been believe it. If you put my CV on the table of what I have been able to achieve in my personal life and in public life, whether it is as a lecturer at the University of Zambia, whether it is an advisor to the government of Zambia, whether it is as a diplomat, whether it has been an assistant to Dr. Kaunda, and so many others that I've been able to do, I can safely say to you that if you take my CV and put it against some, in fact, many of the people who are demanding that they should be considered as president, both in terms of education, in terms of experience, and in terms of exposure, I would probably have a much greater claim for me to want to be president than many of them. Okay? But as I said earlier, that cannot be the basis upon which everyone wants to be president. As my younger brother, the SG, and I'll refer to him later, saying, Mr. Nakachinda, this is the time for all of us to put our selfish and individual interests aside for the collective good. There can only be one president at one particular time, and sometimes the president who will be identified as the best candidate is not a statement that that person is the most intelligent, that person is the richest, or that person is the most debonair. It just means that for this particular time, for this particular space, the one who we will select will have the qualities is this one. So even if I'm outside, it doesn't mean that I'm lesser. It doesn't mean that I'm lesser. So So I think that is very important. And again, I'm sorry if I sound too arrogant, but no, at this point, my interest is that myself, my brother, Ambassador George Chilumanda, who we've been working very close with, Sakura Scotta, Dr. Fred Membe, Honorable Nakachinda, we've had many private conversations together, and others have to agree that what is in the best interest of the country is this. Our individual interests must be put aside. So I hope that I've been very categorical, not for now. If I am alive and I am healthy, maybe in 2036, if I'm alive and healthy. But I sure do hope that by that time we'll have been managed to overcome this government and we can do other things. So that is that. My brother Sensho Banda, again, thank you very much. I agree with we need a collective vision and that we need to really be able to look at these things from a self-interest point of view. And I think that we are just in agreement. The question which I would also like to spend some time is question number 5. There was a lady who asked about selfishness and if you have red flags, why can't you let those other opposition get 0? One of the reasons, which I would have given when I had a number of the reasons why we should be have a united front, one of the reasons is the fact that our democratic system in this country, since 1991 when we flipped over to a plural system, is the recognition by many of us that we are still a very immature democracy. We have not been able to increase from the C+, which we started from in 1991, to maybe a B+, or even an A grade democracy in the last 30 years. So one of the reasons why we want to be able to bring some form of consolidation is not only because we want to win, but it is also because we think that a more functional democratic system will only occur if we have got some form of cohesion in terms of economic policy, in terms of political policy, in terms of governance policy, within a range by which we can, beyond 2026 and beyond, maybe we can have 3 consolidated or maybe at most 4 consolidated political parties which have got an ideological range which fits in very well with other mature democracies. So this consolidation is very important. From an economic point of view, when industrialization begins to have a great impact in terms of resolving some of the challenges of lack of want in an economy, what you will find is the creation of consolidation of what you would call multinational companies or conglomerates. Conglomerates should not overtake everything. It doesn't mean that there shouldn't be small businesses, there shouldn't be mom and pop businesses, there shouldn't be sole proprietorships or partnership. But there is a synergy that is created when you have 2 or 3 or 4 big giant corporations in a particular industries, and then what you would call outgrower industries that show a great degree of flexibility more than the conglomerates. It makes the economy well consolidated. In the same way, you have to create that sort of space in the political space, and you will have a properly functioning institutionalized democracy.
Honorable Muhabi Lungu, let me give you an opportunity to answer. Then we come and get the last 2-3 calls, and then we allow you to wind up. We've already held you for such a long time. But clearly what the viewers are saying is that we need a part 2, especially the provocative thoughts you brought about, I think, the reprimand on the opposition, what should be done to this election, and just the existential threat we face as a country. People want you to expound on those issues. Maybe it's an opportunity for our people. It's like our leaders are all, there's been no self-introspection until you gave a reprimand, a candid reprimand. So make your thoughts and answers, then we come and take the last 3-4 calls, and then we wind up the debate.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba, for all these kind words. And of course, I'm very grateful for all of the observation and the kind words that I'm receiving. I've got here 14 questions. I don't think I'll be able to answer all of them. Maybe let me just pick some of the cardinal ones, and then try to see whether I can quickly cover them. There was one by the last question I was addressing by the lady who was saying, let others get zero, and we need people who are credible, and I was talking about the maturity of the system. But there is a point which I think that is very important there, which is in consonant to the vision that Dr. Njovu Jedediah has mentioned, and to an extent what Vasencio Banda was saying. And this is this. Not only are we promoting that we should have a united front for the purposes of defeating the current administration, but we are very cognizant of the fact that we can't be preoccupied with just replacing someone without having something that is very cogent and reasonable in its place, so that we can be able to say that we did the right things in terms of bringing back good things for the people. So alongside the argument that we must have a united front of everybody is also the proposition that we should also have whichever team that we are going to select, that is the president and the running mate, as well as the team, all of them should be able to sign a social contract that stipulates what is going to be done in the first year, in the first 2 years, in the first 3 years, so that there is no doubt about what we have agreed as a peerage of groups about what is necessary. So if we say we want a constitution to be done within the first 3 years, that must be in the social contract. And that social contract must find a way in which we can bind those people who have been given the opportunity to govern. And in this regard, that is a tie-in to the gentleman who asked the 8th question, that in 1991 we had other movements outside the political sphere, like the Oasis Forum and ZCTU and the Student Union Movement and the church mother bodies. We believe that this is a good idea. We don't want to have a situation where it is only the political parties that are coming together, because there is a genuine fear that we as political players must only do things which will be beneficial to us. We want to be able to do, all of us in the opposition who have been discussing this, want to do something that will be beneficial and will be approved of and witnessed by non-political players, or rather non-politically active players, but we would like to get the Law Association involved, we would like to get NGOCC involved, we want to get other civil society groups to be involved in us coming up and drawing with a possibly bindable social contract for whatever group of people we agree to put in government. This is very, very important personally to me, because I would like whoever we agree on to be the ticket to sign something that I can hold, that if you abrogate what you signed, what we agreed, that I, Muhabi Lungu, and others will be the first to challenge you. Whether you give me a job or not, I guarantee you that I will be able to say this is not what we as a collective, with the witness of these other organizations, said we are going to do. We have to stop this behavior in this country, where we all want to aspire to the president to make ourselves rich and to make ourselves gods. We have to stop it. And there are many of us who are committed to being God busters, or to being what you call wealth busters, so that we put our people as the first priority. That I think that covers a number of issues. Let me go to the gentleman who asked about primaries. I do think that in the process of selecting the best ticket, we have to have some form of mechanism which is broad enough for us to determine the characteristics and character of the president and the running mate and the team that is going forward. For too long have we ignored character, integrity, the capacity to deal with crisis, as Roy Chama was saying. So it may not be necessarily a primary, but I think that it could be a mechanism by which, before we select the person who we will front, if we succeed in doing this, and I hope we will, that there could be some input from the general public as to acceptability as well as sellability of that candidate, but as well as character of whoever that candidate will be, whether it will be a woman or whether it will be a man or whatever. I think that, for me, I think I'm open to that. Let me go to the comments that were made by the SG of the Patriotic Front. Honorable Nakashinda, I'm very grateful for the kind words that you used and bestowed upon me, and I would like to confirm that indeed we have had a lot of discussions with my brother, Honorable Nakashinda, and we are agreed that it is absolutely important that every one of us who are either in contention for the seats at the highest level, and every one of us who are pushing this agenda, that the primary objective should be the people of Zambia, should be the democratization of Zambia, should be the institutionalization of Zambia, should be the deliverance of economic empowerment to the people, and less about Mohabi Lungu, about Emmanuel Mwamba, about Nakashinda, or anybody else who may be interested in being part of the process of reform. Let us all be what you would call birth attendants. Let us all be the ones who will be able to say 10 years from now that I was part of the process that brought in this beautiful baby, and now here the baby is running, and we can clearly say that this baby will not only run but will learn how to fly. Then I think that we will have achieved this. So I encourage my brother as Secretary General of the PF to be strong and to be able to shepherd this and to be the best attendant of it. And I'm sure he would be encouraging me the same as I would encourage my brother George Chulman and many others, that let us for once reduce our levels and the sizes of our head and think about our country. There were several others. Selfishness, I think yes, I do remember the gentleman who we had a discussion with on the phone with my brother, Honorable Chulmanda, and it was indeed a very good discussion. Zephaniah talked about the PF. We all want the PF to survive. I think that the day that we can say that democracy has matured in Zambia, in the future, it may be this one, is the day when we can get one of the opposition political party that lost an election is able to reform, be a partner to others, and be able to be part of those who come back to govern. I think that if we can achieve that, it will be important. But that requires that the bigger brother, in his size and in his glory, also takes cognizance of the little brothers. Because you know, as they say, a little rat or a mosquito can make it very difficult for the big guy. Not intentionally. And they say that one of the most difficult times for a human being is when you are sleeping and the little mosquito keeps on bothering and you keep on slapping yourself. So size is important. I think all of us in the opposition recognize the importance of the Patriotic Front, but we would also like to urge the Patriotic Front to recognize what opportunities there may be in some of the smaller parties so that we are able to work together. And I don't mean only the grouping that I'm belonging to, the Zambia We Want, and those in Tonse Alliance, those in UCA, and everyone who wants to be part of that process. I think that maybe let me, my brother sustained, I think I have covered, let me maybe just one more.
The issues, if there are
almost all of them.
question, I can take the last three calls while we host Honorable Mohabi Lungu. There's a call that you come back and we'll discuss behind the scenes. I think we come and just zero in.
I'll be most grateful.
Yeah, zero in on the threats that we face, the existential threats that you cited. Why? I think it's gone to a great extent to demonstrate why we need a united opposition front.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Alright, that's all for you today, lovely viewers. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video you just watched in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you, lovely viewers. Once again, I go by the name of Mutati Mpundu. I love you, peace, I gotta go.